It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
There's that intro back. Thank you, Mr. Dick Irving. It is always a great day to talk hockey when you're a Habs fan, and I just happen to be that. As is everyone that's tuning in, or pretty much. We get the odd straggler in there, but I have one friend, old friend from my high school days. It's Facebook friend. It's saying, he's a Bruins fan, but he tunes in. His I guess he's got a young lad or two that are Habs fans. So hey, he brought him up right. Um, anyways, and we've got Greg and a few others that from time to time that chip in, but for the most part, we're Habbies, and we're happy. We're happy to be Habbies. Um, big news today: Patrick Kane back to Chicago. It's probably where it's kind of fitting that he goes back. It was either figured it was either Buffalo or Chicago where he was heading back, and but the surprising part for me, well, maybe it's not surprising given what the GM's been handing out there contract wise, but 2 years at 8 million per season. I guess they got lots of cap room there in Chicago, right? But I put up a post the other day of what salaries could look like in comparison Montreal, Chicago in 2027, 28. Well, I've updated it. And I mean, this gives you a pretty good idea of just, who's in the better situation cap wise, player wise, just everything wise. Let's have a look here at this. I found this pretty interesting. This is what the cap hit is going to be in 2027, 28 for the four, exactly 42.1 million. Actually, it's and change for the Habs, but 42.1 um, for both the Hawks and the Habs. Now, that's for 6 players on the Habs and 4 on Chicago. This is assuming that Reinbacher is on is on the team next year, but I have a pretty good I have a pretty good inkling that he will be there. Certainly, I expect him this year, but definitely next year to be on the team. But anyway, it's the other 5 that are the main focus here because their point totals, and that's Suzuki, Caulfield, Slav, Demidov, and Hudson. They had 402 points in 2025-26, and the 4 Chicago Blackhawks who will be making a combined 42.1 million against the salary cap next season. Byram, Bedard, Kane, Nazar, 215 points in 2025-26. So Habs almost twice as many points, and none of those Habs are in their mid to late 30s like a certain one on the Hawks that presumably won't be getting better with age because he's already, by NHL standards, an old fogey. So that just there is a prime example of just how fantastic a job Kent Hughes, John Sedgwick, the capologists, everybody involved is doing with the Montreal Canadiens. It's I mean, what a stark contrast, right? And I expect that 402 points by 2027, 28, with the addition of Reinbacher, because he had no points in among that contribution, or so. Um, you know, that could be 500 points for those 6 players, 2027, 28, or so, thereabouts. So, um, hmm, you gotta like the future in Montreal as well as the present. The future and the present are very, very bright. Zeffel Cave, what do I think of Balduke on the second line? Well, um, did you not read the title there, my friend? Zach Bolduc, 11 goals, 11 even strength goals this past season. Probably not. Not yet, anyway. I'll explain why I think Newhook and Kapanen will start the season on the second line as they started last season, right? I mean, this isn't like this is way out in left field. Last year, the Montreal Canadiens at the first 40 games, for the most part, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov was the second line. And I suspect that it will be once again this year. And I will get into the reasons why. Oh geez, okay. I had this updated. That looks better, right? We've got Reinbacher without his toque on. But yeah, this is 42.1 mil each. It just blows my mind that that this is a stat that I can run out there. That next year those 6 will be making the exact same as those 4 Chicago Blackhawks. All right, now let's get into the main topic here today. Kapanen and Newhook. I did a deep dive into stats that I find pertinent. I mean, that's not always the case. And of course, I don't have the right. Just give me a minute here. I was having an issue downloading stuff, and I will just make damn sure that I've got it here, and I do. Okay, good. Now, this stat is all right. Even strength goals per 60. Okay, I find that to be the most pertinent stat outside of the goals, assists, all that. I prefer these stats to what the fancy stats, and I'll explain why a little later. But all right, even strength goals per 60. This was the top 6 forwards on the Habs. Okay, Caulfield led the way, and now this is including playoffs. All right, Caulfield led the way, 1.72 even strength goals per 60. Alex Newhook was second, 1.42 even strength goals per 60. Kapanen third, 1.14 goals per 60. Nick Suzuki fourth, 0.74 even strength goals per 60. Slav fifth at 0.72. Demidov 0.60 even strength goals per 60 minutes. All right. Now, I also did the even strength goals against per 60. All right. So Newhook led the way, actually. He only allowed 2.52 even strength goals against per 60. Suzuki 2.66. Caulfield 2.88. Cappy 2.89, basically the same as Caulfield. Slav 3.17. And Demidov brought up the rear at 3.24. Now, when you subtract that from the even strength goals per 60, the goal differential per 60, obviously it's going to be always in the negative because this is goals, not goals that you're on the ice for, but goals you actually score. So Newhook minus 1.10, okay, which was the best goal differential per 60 of all the forwards. Caulfield second, negative 1.16. Cappy third, negative 1.75. Suzuki fourth, negative 1.92. Slav fifth, negative 2.45. Demidov last at negative 2.64. Newhook in the playoffs, okay, he had 7 goals. Look at his goals per 60 in the playoffs. It matched Caulfield in the regular season. Caulfield had like 44 goals in regular season. Newhook per 60 minutes had the exact scored just as frequently as Caulfield did in the playoff. Okay, 1.71 points per 60, 2.41, which puts him right in, right up there. Goals against per 62.19. Now, this is how I calculate this. I put a little more emphasis on goals than assists, right? So to get your mean goals against even strength differential, it's what you do is you add up. Okay, no, that uh, just a second here. You add up the two. Anyway, that bottom line, we'll worry about that later. But I'll explain it with the next one here because I think that one is wrong. Because we look at this right here. Okay, this is the even strength differential per 60. Okay, and how I calculate that, I combine their goals, even strength goals per 60, and even strength points per 60, and subtract their goals against per 60. Now that puts a little more weight because to me, you don't um, like especially a secondary assist is not nearly as consequential as scoring a goal or even a primary assist. Really, scoring a goal is more important than getting an assist in just about every case, but especially secondary assists. I mean, somebody can, you know, throw it from behind their net to somebody else. He can go end to end score. I mean, and they get the equal amount of points. Well, the fair way of doing it is combining the goals per 60 with the points per 60 and then subtracting the goals against per 60 to come up with a number that to me tells you, okay, like this person is either, a liability on the ice to a certain degree, or he's not, or he's productive. And that's going both ways. It's not, I really like this stat, but when you look at it, Caulfield plus 1.70, Newhook plus 1.52, Suzuki, of course, with all of his assists, moved up ahead of Kapanen, and Caulfield moved ahead of Newhook because he gets more assists too, right? Suzuki plus 0.74. Cappy still on the plus side, plus 0.06. Slav, negative 0.43. Demidov, negative 0.51. They surprisingly were on the ice for significantly more goals per 60 against than any of the other four. So Newhook, as you can see by these stats, he, you know, yeah, I know he's been a whipping boy, and I mean, I was among them. And yeah, he's not a great passer. He's never going to get 50 assists in the NHL. But I mean, remember back to the playoff, who scored the clutch goals? Like, who won series? It was Newhook. Who, and you look at those pertinent stats, and it's Newhook. It's Newhook that's um, looks real good. He's right up there with Caulfield as far as efficiency in keeping it, in getting goals, getting points, and keeping the puck out of your own net. So, and Kapanen was ahead of both Slav and Demidov. So, they're obviously going to be in the top six. So I think Kapanen belongs in there too. Now, some people make the argument, well, Kapanen, he wouldn't be playing up against the top lines like Suzuki and you know um, Suzuki and Caulfield and Slav, but um, it's surprising. Like Kapanen I dug it, deeper into the stats here. He played 5 to 10 minutes at even strength this past season versus Larkin, Matthews, Horvat, Scheifele, Eichel, Crosby, Heischer, Zegras, Stahl, or not, sorry, Heischer, Zegras, Stahl, and then more than 10 minutes, or actually just, he played 9:55 against Crosby. So, okay, he was in the 5 to 10, but you might as well say it was 10 minutes. But all of these other players, he faced them head to head more than 10 minutes last season. We're talking Pinto, Kopitar, Wyatt Johnson, Sam Bennett, Dylan Strome, Mika Zibanejad. Like, these are centers. Pavel Zacha, Adam Fantilli, Sorelli, Lindholm, Jack Hughes, Reinhardt, Dylan Cousins, Tim Stutzla, Sean Monahan, John Tavares, Logan Stankoven, and Braden Point. He was up, and especially on the road, they put their top lines out against this guy all the friggin' time. Like, two rookies. Like, that's part of the reason why Demidov's goals against per 60 isn't great. He was he was on a line with two rookies, and Newhook, and multiple other line mates throughout the year. So they, you know, like it, like that distinction cuts straight to the core of why modern public analytics models can be deeply misleading when evaluating players in specific deployment roles, right? Like, expected goals, Corsi, Fenwick, Kapanen didn't have great numbers in that regard. And if you talk to the advanced stats guys, they'll say, oh, like, there was one guy saying, oh, he's crap and this and that. You got to you got to heavily take into consideration that Oliver Kapanen was a rookie playing with another rookie. Hey, Demidov's going to be good, but when you watched, there were lots of errors there, lots of giveaways. And I mean, Cappy did it too, but their rookies matched up against some of the best players in the NHL. Of course, when a rookie center and rookie winger are hard match shift after shift against elite players like Crosby, Tavares, the Kopitar, Point, they're going to get pinned in their own zone more often, right? Raw possession metrics are going to look ugly under that kind of relentless wave of pressure. So, no, you know, you have to take it into consideration. Yeah, a lot of nights they were 40 to 45% Fenwick and Corsi, and expected goals weren't the highest. Well, yeah, the rookies playing against the top freaking players in the league. So I'm not that worried about the advanced stats on these guys. It's going to just keep, just like, I've talked about rookie centers and their face-off percentage. You go back and you look through time, through history, face-off percentage just for rookie centers are typically 40 to 45%. And if you are over 45% as a rookie center in the league, that bodes well. And Cappy was over 45% on faceoffs. So that's the other part, right? That he's really good on faceoffs. But the fact that Cappy posted a positive even strength differential per 60, while absorbing the hardest minutes a rookie can possibly face, proves that his actual defensive effectiveness far outstripped what his raw possession metrics suggested. When you survive a baptism of fire against the NHL's elite and still come out ahead where it actually counts on the scoreboard, you've earned your spot, I think, as a trusted second line center. Now, did he fade at the end of the year? Yeah, he did. There was he didn't have a great end to the year, but for 70 games, man, he went up against all of the best centers in the league. I mean, not every shift, but a lot of them, and came out ahead. Like, 22 goals as a rookie center. I Here is In the past decade, these are the only rookie centers that scored 22 goals or more in the past decade. Okay. Austin Matthews, Matt Barzal, Matt Beniers, Wyatt Johnson, Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, Oliver Kapanen. None of them played more than 40 minutes shorthanded. Oliver Kapanen played 129. Like that's quite an impressive combination, right? One of the only seven rookie centers in the past decade to get 22 goals, and the only one to play more than well, you combine all of the other six, the amount of times that they played shorthanded as rookie centers, it's less than what Kapanen played with on the PK. So that's quite an impressive combination. He's the only one, okay, that played 50 plus minutes and scored 22 goals in the past. The only rookie center in the past decade of all, a lot of first overall picks, a lot of top 5 picks. I mean, you look at that list, like Matthews first overall, Beniers top 2, Bedard first overall, Celebrini first overall, Johnson top 20 pick, Barzal top 20 or first round pick, right? All first round picks, and most of them top 5. And then you've got Oliver Kapanen, and he's the only one that was a regular penalty killer out of all of them. So, you know, I do get tired of people that just like I see these lists. There was something on Facebook yesterday, projected 2030 lineup, and they've got um, well, the darling LJ Mooney on the third line and Kapanen a fourth line winger, and he just did that. Like he just matched all these guys as a rookie center, and he's going to be beat out by a 5'7" guy that 0.034 goals per 60 in college, and Cappy as a rookie in the NHL at 1.14. He's going to get beat out by the 5'7" that can't penalty kill. Like it doesn't add up. He's still underrated, and there you go. Now, Brian, do you understand why I'm the president of the Oliver Kapanen fan club? Oh, I've got one more. I've got one more cool um, ELC Cappy versus Rich Cappy. Okay, Oliver Kapanen, ELC Cappy, entry level contract. Kirill Kaprizov, Rich Cappy. All right, $17 million AAV. All right, goals at even strength per 60 last year. Cappy 1.14. Rich Cappy 1.06. So Oliver Kapanen outscored this guy, and that's pretty crazy, right? Goals against at even strength per 60. Why is this? Just a second here. All right. Excuse me. I got AI to make this up, and I told him 42 times to change the Oliver Kapanen. I even sent the friggin' picture, and they didn't do it. So I did it, and then here I downloaded the one that AI had done. But anyway, that's the real Cappy there. I don't know who that image was that AI did, but by the way, all the other graphics I did myself. So, but this was AI generated. All right, goals against at even strength per 60, exactly the same. All right, so Oliver Kapanen was exactly the same efficiency at even strength per 60 as Rich Cappy, Kirill Kaprizov, and his 17 million. I think it's $18 million contract, right? Yeah. Anyway, or no, it's 17. Sorry, $16 million difference in their salaries. Okay, So the goal differential per 60, negative 1.75 for Cappy, negative 1.83 for Kaprizov. So net, net effectiveness on the ice this past season, Cappy, ELC Cappy was better than Rich Cappy, and he made $16 million less. So, I don't know. I hope that's a sound argument for why these guys should be playing. Now, the other thing, we got to look at is, Cappy, how one other rookie center in Montreal in the past like 20 years did anything of note, and that was Nick Suzuki, right? Okay, so let's look at Suzuki's rookie season versus Kapanen. Suzuki, 0.56 goals per 60 at even strength. Cappy, 1.14 goals per 60 at even strength, so double, more than double. Suzuki, 1.72 points per 60 at even strength. Kapanen, 1.81 points per 60 at even strength. 2.73 goals against per 60 at even strength for Suzuki. 2.89 goals against per 60 at even strength for Cappy. So slightly worse for Kapanen. Negative 0.45 even strength differential for Suzuki, plus 0.06 for Cappy. So overall, Cappy was more effective as a rookie center in the NHL than Nick Suzuki. So, yeah, Nick was a little younger. I mean, you can't say that the team was a hell of a lot worse because they ended up going to the Eastern Conference Final soon after. But, and as far as matchups go, I already listed there all of the Kapanen faced all the top lines in the league. So Suzuki actually started as a third, fourth line center and worked his way up as he went along. So if anything, the matchups were worse for Cappy than they were for Suzuki. So it bodes well for Suzuki or for Kapanen, right? If he, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be the next friggin' Nick Suzuki, but at the same time, when you put his numbers into perspective, the numbers that I think count the most, even strength goals per 60, when you're looking at, who should be on the line together? Well, we're talking about who should be on the line at even strength, not who should be on the power play or on a power play unit. It's who should be out on the ice 5-on-5 on the second line. Well, it should probably be guy that was top 4 on the team in even strength differential, and that was Kapanen, who was second, third on the team in goals per 60 at even strength. The guy, he was right near the top of the league, and top 50 in even strength goals per 60, which for a rookie center, like he's got these. There's extra duties when you're at center. I mean, who found out about that pretty quickly when he tried playing center for the first time in the NHL? Certain somebody that got traded for Mikhail Sergachev. Did Drew find it easy? He had to be back. The center, especially on a top line, has to be the guy that kind of stays back. And the other thing with Kapanen too, I wish there was a stat on this, but there can't be another player in the league that changes more often when his team's on the rush with the puck. Like, he's so unselfish in that regard. They'll have a 3-on-2, and Cappy it'll be 30 seconds into a shift, and Cappy will go change. Like it's team first, right? Oh, here's an opportunity for me to get off and get another player on, almost to the team's detriment at times because they could have a 3-on-1 or 3-on-2, and Cappy instead goes off, and then the other guy comes in a little late, and it ends up being a 2-on-2 instead of a 3-on-2. But you know that skews your Fenwick and your Corsi and your expected goals percentage too. When you know you are so unselfish that like there aren't many players that do that. If they see an opportunity, right, for an offensive chance and they're only 25, 30 seconds into a shift, very few go off the ice. Well, Kapanen, I'd say 80% of the time last year would change. Like, I mean, I follow this guy, you know, I want him to succeed. I watched him closely last year, and I noticed it time and time again. And that skews your, you know, that skews your block, all of those stats, the fancy stats, right? That because he's not getting into the offensive zone as often, he's getting off, and Suzuki. I don't know how many times Suzuki ended up getting like 20, 30 seconds with Demi and whoever, you know, because Cappy changed way before his line mates. His average shift time, um, I mean, it got booted up at times because he'd be out, and then conversely, he wouldn't go off when the other team was coming back because he's so focused on the defensive part of his game, you know. So that would even out. Like, I don't think if just looking at shift time necessarily gives you an idea of this, because he would have extended shifts because he would stay on when the puck was coming back into the defensive zone. And again, that line had a lot of extended shifts because they were out against, two rookies out against the Crosby line or the Tavares line or the point line or whatever. Well, guess what? Yeah, they had a lot of shifts when they were pinned up in their own zone. And guess what? The expected goals, Corsi Fenwick numbers went at the time because, yeah, the best centers and top players in the league at times overwhelmed a couple of raw rookies who will only improve that part of their game as time goes along. So that is when you look at the numbers, Bolduc was not. He had 11 even strength goals. His numbers were about 0.67 even strength goals per 60. Not very good. If you compare him with the others on this list, he ends up being somewhere. I think he was even strength goals. He would have been last on this list, or right about Demidov. Even strength goals per 60. And then when it came to his goal differential per 60, he was, probably about where Slav or Demidov was as far as their differential. But, he's not going to be replacing those two. It's whether will he replace Newhook or Kapanen. And the stats, certainly from last year, tell you no. You know, those are the two guys that should start the year on the second line. They were pretty good, on the whole last year. And those stats bear it out. Now, if Kapanen struggles to start the year like he ended last year, well, he won't be there for long, But I think that it was just a matter of a European player who played for Montreal, played in the Swedish League and in the AHL, NHL, Swedish League, AHL playoffs last spring, and then you know rookie camp, rookie tournament, exhibition games, regular season playoffs, Olympics, all in the span of 12 months. He played, I don't know, 120 games, or it was ridiculous amount. And he had never played half of that before. And I think it just finally it caught up with him. And you know, just like a lot of Habs prospects and young players, he needs to have a really solid off season, and come to camp a little stronger, a little faster, and ready to roll. And I think, hey, what Kent Hughes hasn't made a move here, right? He hasn't made a move for second line players. Well, when you look at the stats, Newhook, I'm sure he thinks, and I'm sure they do deep dives on stats and everything too. And the feeling likely is, hey, we probably got this covered internally, and if not, they're certainly not going to be terrible, whoever plays on the second line. And last year, it was a 106-point team with these guys playing second line. Well, that's pretty good, right? And there's Evans as backup, there's Doc, there's Bolduc, there's several players that can step in, and and even Texier now and then, if who knows with him, but he can even step into a second line role at times. Anderson was probably one of the six. He was one of the six best forwards last last spring. Um, he could, in a pinch, he can step into a spot in the top six. But they, the Kent didn't make a move yet. He's not panicking, and when I crunch the numbers, you look at the playoff Newhook had. He was really good. Uh, you know, they traded a 31st overall pick and a 37th overall pick for him. He was a top 16 pick in the draft. He's supposed to be a top six player. So it's not like, oh, like this is a surprise. Like Newhook couldn't possibly play in the top six. Well, in his draft year, that was the expectation that, yeah, he can play in the top six. Is he a puck distributor, a playmaker, an elite one? No, he's not. And that's his downfall. But he was on pace. He plays a second line steady minutes, and he plays a full season. You're on pace for 25, 30 goals. He forechecks hard. He's proved immensely defensively. He was killing penalties regularly last year. His speed makes an impact. He's gotten more physical as he's matured here. He's improved. He's improved over the past 2 years. And I'm not the type of guy that, if I'm critical of somebody and I think, oh well, no, and I make an opinion one year that no, he's not a second line player. Well, I you know I'm not always right, and I'm not afraid to admit it when my opinion from 2 years ago changes, where I think, okay, well maybe I underestimated him. But you got to remember, like, Alex Newhook is still, there's different ages where a player blossoms or even makes the NHL. There's different ages. Some are stars like Macklin Celebrini at 18 years of age. Some don't break through till their late 20s. It's typically a lot of defensemen in that regard, but there's examples throughout the ages of players after the age of 25, really figuring things out. Um, and then for some, it's just a kind of a slow progression as time goes along. Um, Newhook, made a substantial improvement last year, and now he's just entering his prime. Um, I don't see why he can't be an effective second line player at this point. And hey, you know, Hage can come along and beat him out eventually. Maybe Balduke, who's a little younger, maybe he figures some things out. But he's not a playmaker either, right? We've seen that there's limits to his vision and his passing. There's some similarities there between Balduke and Newhook when it comes to that. But Newhook's faster. He's probably the fastest forward on the team. So you balance one thing with the other. It's not a huge difference in size. Bolduc's a little taller, but maybe an inch taller. So big deal there, right? And Newhook's a thick kid. Like he's big lower body for sure, tree trunks for legs, and he's gotten more physical as he's matured too, and he works hard. Like that Alex Newhook is not going to take shifts off. Again, is he the smartest player? No. Does he have great vision? No. But if he did, he'd be a star because there's a lot of, you combine everything else there. He can, he can score goals. He can check. He works hard, uh, and he's fast, super fast. So uh, that that's my take on Kapanen and Newhook. I think that they have the inside edge. And again, watch tomorrow. Kent Hughes will, you know, pick up pick up a second line center or something, and then this will all be moot. But anyway, if they don't make any moves before the opening of the season, that those two for me right now have the inside track on playing with Demidov on the second line. All right. I have been avoiding comments. Going to open this up and see what folks have to say. I got a yellow thing. Oh, may miss the show for the next couple days. Headed to TO. Okay. Thank you for the 10 spot, Marcus. Too bad that you may miss the show, my friend. Montreal benefit by signing the young talent early. Hughes didn't wait to sign. I'll give credit to Hughes' his strength as negotiating contracts and timing, probably from his past as an agent. Yeah, I don't think that hurts. Brian, once again, getting in his bottom six forward thing. Yeah. And Glenn, before I really get into all the reasons, already has an opinion. Well, whatever, Glenn. Cappy is only going to get better. Grant let people know about how much games the kid did in his rookie year. Yeah. Kapanen got size, a good shot, great hockey IQ with a playmaker like Demidov and a power forward like Slav. He can be a good partner. Yeah, Burrs. Habs, baby. Oh, yeah. Hey, Hubert. Atlantic Division, best division, all NHL. Could be. And Francois is bringing up a good point here. Often think of players, he's a 2C, 3W, but coaches don't seem to think that way. No, and that's true. They think more is it a good fit. And hey, there's games when that second line will play less than Evans's line, or I could see Evans centering Bolduc and Doc. I think that could be a good line. Now, there'll be nights when they play more than the Kapanen line, right? If they have a lead, and they think, well, okay, these guys, we need a little more sandpaper. We'll play these guys a little more. And then the fourth line with Anderson and Deneau, which some nights could be the third line of the second line. I mean, I say it all the time, Francois, and I agree. Like, but we do put numbers on lines, right? And when I say second line, more so than anything, what I'm saying is the guys that play with Demidov. If you want to call it the second line, typically everyone does, right? Demidov's the young star. So whoever plays with Demidov, that's the de facto second line. But anyway, as an example, would Demidov really be well served playing with a play driving center, or is he better served by a center that has a defensive conscience and a good one timer? Well, I brought this up time and time again, but who did Steven Stamkos play with on 2 cup winning teams? Anthony Cirelli. With that, Anthony Cirelli, a 70-point center, playmaking? No, no, he was a defense first, hardworking, defensively conscious, good on faceoffs, all the little things that help you win games. That's him, right? So no, exactly. I think Kapanen and Demidov, it was apparent right from the rookie tournament that there was some chemistry there. Did they get a pile of points together? No, they didn't. Um, you know, but at the same token, they're 2 rookies and still, figuring things out in the league. It takes time. Like Kapanen, what I've noticed was, there were times when, because I watched him a lot throughout his career, and he's not typically turning over the puck in the offensive zone that much, but in the NHL he did last year because it's the best league in the world. Because it was smaller ice, he had less time and space. He's playing against the best players in the world, and there were times when he didn't think fast enough to make the right play. He got checked, this and that. I suspect as he gains more experience here, gets more used to, you know, the speed, the size, the smaller ice, that will improve because he was never one to turn the puck over a lot. He usually quite good at protecting it, holding on to it, making the right play. Last year at times, especially towards the end of the year, that wasn't happening. But I, I I've watched enough of the player in the past to know that that's not the real Cappy. It was more a case of him just needing a little more time here to adapt to the time and space that's not there on an NHL rink. 2 things could be true with Cappy. I'm the vice president of the Cappy fan. The 2 things are he hit a rookie wall and they took scats off the line. Slav, you mean? He wasn't what Don't forget the first half of the year, most of the year he played with Newhook and Kapanen, and they were pretty good. And when Slav first joined that line, they were quite good, but then they weren't that good. And Slav, Cappy started hitting the wall while Slav was still on that line, and then Slav got moved off the line, and he was still struggling some. So anyway, Kapanen is completely underrated by many. He had 22 goals, great hockey IQ, good hands, good shot, defensively sound. I'm not sure what fans want out of a rookie. Yeah, go East, old man. Okay, that's a new one. I don't know if he has great hands, but good hands. His hands are okay, but we did see at times, you know, he certainly doesn't have Demidov type hands, but I just hope that the end of the season doesn't affect his confidence. Finished with Doc and Bolduc after that healthy scratch. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I can see Cap fitting into a second line, but Newhook, no, he lacks finish, my opinion. Oh, he lacks finish. Yeah. Absolutely no doubt about that. I wonder how true it is that he lacks finish. Sometimes sounds like an unproven narrative. Considering he had one of the best shooting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about the lack in finish thing. I think he kind of proved us wrong, Mark. I used to say that too, but who scored all the clutch goals? Who finished? Who was finishing? Who scored the big goals when he needed them last year? It was freaking over and over again. It was Newhook. You know, we used to say that Artie Lehkonen lacked finish, and he did. Did that change as time went along? Remember him scoring the big goal against Vegas? What he's done in Colorado, when put with skilled players. He's come up with a lot of big goals through the years, right? Do we say that Kapanen lacks finish now? Or sorry, Lehkonen? I mean, players can evolve. He used to lack finish, Mark. I don't know that it's so much the case now. You know, um, and Francois kind of mentioned that with Newhook. You know what you've got: hard work or great speed. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was on pace for again his goals per 60 even strength, man. Like in the playoffs, 1.71. That matched Caulfield. That's not the stats that matched Caulfield for the whole season. Is goals per 60 in the playoffs when it mattered most. That's not the stat of somebody that lacks finish, Mark. You know, I used to say it, but sometimes my opinions can change, and it's changed to a certain degree on No Hook. He has grown on me to a certain degree. Cappy did not play in the Swiss league. He played in the Finnish league and the Swedish league. There, be right. That's right. Thoughts of Kane's 2 year? Yeah, okay. I guess you missed the start of the show there, be right. That's what I started off with, my friend. My thoughts are, what the hell is Chicago doing? They're doing it again. I'll put this up again. I guess you missed this. Byram, Bedard, Kane, Nazar, 42.1 million next season cap hit. They had 215 points last year between the four of them. Slav, Suzuki, Caulfield, Reinbacher, Hudson, and Demidov next year. And that's with Demidov's $9.1 million contract kicking in. 42.1 million, folks, for those six players. Who would you rather have? You know? That's tough, eh? 402 points last year between five of them. Reinbacher obviously was not in the NHL. Yes, Simon. He did a point per game at 21 is very, very good. It is. And he was excellent and always good in the playoffs, too. So that's why I think, he just kind of ran out of steam. I like Newhook. He's a real competitor, and he showed he comes to play when it counts, the playoffs. Well, you know, he was on a cup winner, right? I think Newhook has better hockey sense than Bolduc. You're certainly not the vice president of the Bolduc fan club. I'll tell you that. Oh, I got a $10 super sticker from Brian. Thanks, Brian. Full house, nice to see. Yeah, not too bad. We've got 85 or so tuned in. like it to be over 100, but it is the middle of summer. I get it. Newhook needs more of a finishing touch. That's maybe what he's lacking. Oh, back to the finishing touch thing, too. I used to think that, guys, but I don't know. I will once again refer to this stat. 1.71 goals per 60. And in the regular season, like in the playoffs, and in the regular season, 1.42. He was the second best goal scorer, efficient goal scorer on the team last year at even strength, behind Caulfield. And then in the playoffs, he matched Caulfield's rate for the whole year. When it stepped up, Caulfield was down to about 0.8, and Newhook was up like double that. So I don't know. The stats tell a different story, that folks, than those that have the narrative that Newhook can't finish. It's not what the stats say. He was on pace for 30 goals last year, playing with two rookies for the majority of the year. So players that lack finish don't score 30 goals. I will respectfully disagree. Bolduc has to play really basic hockey and let the other players do the playmaking. His puck control is also deficient. He's not a puck guy. He's not a playmaker, but he can be effective. He can be a 25-goal man. Hey, he had 19 as a 21-year-old, so it's there to score some goals. But right now, Newhook's a better player. I don't think there's any two ways about it. Will that be the case in a couple of years? We'll get back to, there's a 3-year spread or 2 or 3 year spread in age, and you got to take that into account. I think Cappy comes in this season more prepared for the regular season grind. That could make a huge difference right there. I hope so. Yeah, well, I did mention that. Be right. Are you listening with the sound down? Because you asked about the you know about the Kane signing, and that I talked about it. Now you're saying exactly what I said 10 minutes ago. Anyway, be right. What's the B stand for anyways? I'd like to know what your first name is. Brian? You're not Shane Wright's dad, are you? Jimbo's Glue-foot. I have a feeling that Cap with Demidov and Hage on the wing will start off, will be a killer line, that combo of talent. Hage is going back to college, Jimbo. So I don't see how that's going to happen. Cappy should be better this season, not knowing what it takes. Now knowing what it takes to play in the NHL. I know already that Cappy can score 30 regularly. Yeah, maybe. Last year I discovered a young player who was really responsible defensively. Yeah. Well, I knew the responsible defensively thing. He's always going to be that. Will he be a 30-goal scorer? Maybe. I think that there was some good fortune with that. I wouldn't be surprised if this year he got somewhere around 18 goals. And I think this assist total is what's going to change for him this year, because there is more playmaking there than what we saw last year. And I think him and Demidov they can still figure out some things here. Demi should be getting some more yeah. 22 goals for rookie and not much on the power play is phenomenal. Second year is where you see a player excel. Yeah. The reason I'd like Doc with Demidov is that they both have strong puck possession. Doc, Cap, Demi. I don't know. Cap will tell us a lot of what they're thinking. Yeah, could be. Habs look great for the next few years, but sure could use a guy like good old Pierre LaRouche, Steve Perry. Yeah, I know who Steve Perry is. How's it going, Steve? Yeah. Vernon. Sorry. How's it going in Vernon? I know exactly who that is. Vern Perry, Houston Oilers. Please take a minute to hit that like and subscribe. I grew up with Steve Perry. Thanks for tuning in, Steve. I think Newhook can score 30. Is that too optimistic? No, it's not. He was on pace for it last year. Kapanen and Demidov will help improve everyone's gameplay. Even Mr. Stand around and wait for the puck, Slavkovsky. Yeah. Yep. In terms of 5v5 points per 60, Habs player ranking in NHL, Caulfield, number 12. Demidov, points. Well, again, you know, I focus on goals, and I was talking about goals, right? And Cappy even was still top 100, so pretty impressive for a rookie, right? Caulfield 12, Newhook 33, Suzuki 59, Slav 88, Cappy. Yeah, but again, I was talking about uh, 5v5 goals per 60, and Cappy was quite high in that regard. What's Newhook's next contract look like? Going to be bigger, I'll tell you that. Big Bill? Okay, sorry, I forgot there, Big Bill. Big Bad Bill. Here's what you might not be understanding why Demidov and Cap work so well. They both learned hockey outside of North America. Yeah. Uh, okay, Jimbo, but you said start, so here's what you might. Yeah. Well, maybe that could be. They need a good second unit for the power play. Yeah, absolutely they do. There is no doubt about that. And I can't disagree with that whatsoever. Glenn, I know you whined about that. You know, at least wait till I've done uh, my discussion on why I think Cap before you're weighing in. You know, ignore the stats if you like, and have that. You've had that opinion all year, and you keep repeating it. I don't need to read it over and over again. I know what your opinion is on Kapanen. Everyone else can read it here. I don't feel like I don't feel like repeating it. If you don't like that, that's fine. Sorry. European style give and go hockey. Yeah, absolutely. Page would be really helpful in that regard to act as the play driver. No one on the power play is really doing this. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, he'll be good on the power play. He's going to be much needed. He'll be on the second power play. He'll be effective. Um, he's needed on the second power play without a doubt. Not having Gallagher this year around just so that somebody else can be on the power play. Well, Kapanen did not have a lot of success on the power play last year, and in part because they had like Gallagher on there, they had Newhook, they had you know they had guys that Newhook on the power play isn't necessarily like I think he can score goals, but as far as he utilizes his speed to create chances. It was like when Paul Byron used to be on the power play, the second power play. I'm going like, what are they doing here? You know, he creates offense from his speed. When he's static, he's not that effective. And it's the same with Newhook to a certain degree, although he'll be on the second power play likely to start the year. Doc, imagine, will be on there. Bolduc, maybe Texier. Dobson, I wasn't thrilled about him on the power play, but still better than Matheson on the power play. Does Cappy get on the power play this year? I hope so. He's got a really good one timer, and I think they got to start utilizing that on the power play. What I think will happen in the future here is when Hage joins, I think Kapanen will start to produce on the second power play because he'll finally have a good playmaker to set him up. Because Cappy's got a really good one timer, but he wasn't playing with like Gallagher and Newhook and such. Wasn't playing with guys that were setting him up, and I look forward. Imagine if Cappy starts getting some goals on the power play. Maybe he can be a 25-30 goal scorer, but um, same as you, Grant. I haven't been impressed by Dobson on power play too. I feel this unit has given almost as many goals as it has scored. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, the second power play was horrible last year. That's got to change. And that maybe, hopefully, like you wonder, eh? Was Trevor Letowski really, was he kind of, you know, maybe they don't say when a guy's fired too often, right? Going to spend time with family and stuff, and maybe Lalonde will bring a better perspective on it. Look, they changed goalie coaches, and that did wonders. Now they're going to change power play. I know Marty kind of ran things, but before that, it was Letowski, and it wasn't very good. Still wasn't great. Certainly, the second power play wasn't great this past year. So, you know, and Newhook, getting Newhook to bring the puck in, he's got the speed, but you know, Brian's talking about the zone entries. I don't like New. He brings it in fast, but then what happens, right? Well, and at least he won't be, because last year what happened a lot was Newhook came zooming in, and he passed it to Gallagher, and the play was over, right? Gally be standing there, and he'd get checked, and anyway. Fowler is not ready. Oh yeah, might be hard if he isn't around. Put Arbor at net front on power play like Chera. Chera wasn't on the power play that often. Once, like front of the net a little bit, but I mean, you noticed it, right? Yeah, no, that's for sure. Um, I'd be curious to see Deneau on power play too to win face off and play in front of the net to create chaos, deviations, take rebounds. Yeah, maybe we should keep Hudson on for the full 2 minutes. Yeah, That might not be a bad plan. I think Florian would be good there. I'd love to see Arbor blasting his 106 cannon from the blue line. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's that Newhook lacks a little creativity instead of finish. Yeah, yeah. It's more is creativity than finish. But um, funny thing is, Newhook was a 60 assist man in junior. So, but mind you, so was Bolduc one year. So it tells you, you know, stats don't stats at the junior level don't always tell the full tale, right? I'd love to see Hudson playing left wing on the second line just to see it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, well, as far as podcasters playing it down the line, I don't know too many podcasters that you know read the majority of comments here. So I'm not going to please everybody all the time, but um, the fact is that there's people on here that keep saying the same thing over and over again. I start doing a podcast, and at the very start, before I've even laid out my explanation, they're saying, "Oh no, he can only be a third." I got that all year, and it frustrates me. Okay, at least listen to my reasoning as to why, and then make your comments. But at the start of a podcast, before it's even been laid out to me why, and I think I produced quite a few very pertinent stats. Just listen. Like I'm only supposed to listen to your opinion, but you're not supposed to listen to mine. Like it goes both ways too, you know. And as far as somebody, well, they play it down the middle. Hey, I read. Believe me, I read the opinions that I disagree with all the time. But when somebody does it right off the bat without listening to my argument, well, it runs two ways. Okay, you don't have to like it. That's fine. But nobody's more interactive with the chatters than me among hockey podcasts. So you know, don't make a claim that I don't read the opinions I disagree with. I do it all the freaking time. Uh, you know, and then I get a comment from somebody that's never commented on here before, and of course it's you know it's to tell me what I should be doing and not doing. Come on. First comment from somebody and they're, you know, Mr. Know It All. Junior goaltending is pretty weak. Yep, it is. Should have titled this video Cappy Hour. Ooh. See, I read that comment. Yeah, well, because I'm Cappy, okay? I'm the president of the Cappy fan club, all right? And damn proud of it. I don't know if I got to see if Blaine's going to show up here for a little bit. I'm going to send him a quick text here. Nyland. Lots of local Habs fans hate Finns goes back to the days of Nyland. Nyland. Gary Nyland? He played for the Leafs? You thinking of Nylander? Maybe? Or who? Not sure Marty would ever think of moving Hudson anywhere aside from right D and left D. Yeah. Lots of local Hab fans hate Finns. Yeah. How to annoy Grant call for Cappy to be a fourth line center. Matheson trade him. He's horrible. Arbor needs to be first pair defenseman. Yeah. Hey, I wear my heart on my sleeve. What can I say? Uh, Grant, what could you tell us about Jake DeBrusk? One of those names we see in trade rumors. Glenn had to 50 times this year. Oh, he's a third line center. Oh, he's a third line center. Before I even, you know, finish my friggin' dissertation. Oh, he's only a third line center. Anyway, when you see it over and over again, you get tired of it. 22 goal, like, 6 friggin' centermen, 7 centermen in the last friggin' decade, 22 goals. None of them played regular on the power play. Oh, but he's only a second line center. He's only a second line center. Like, I'm not saying that he's definitely going to be the second line center in the future, but I'm sure as hell not going to say that he'll never be the second line center. He just was as a 22-year-old rookie last year. But, like the opinions that, like dead set, no, he'll never be a second line center. Well, he just freaking was, and a damn good one at 22 years old as a rookie. So, I freaking scouted in the NHL. I've scouted for 20 years, and I don't say, oh no, he's definitely going to be a second line center the rest of his career. But, all sorts of people have come on here and, he'll never be a second line center. Anyway, Naslund, he's Finn. The Habs have specific holes to fill, and the price of trades seem very expensive at the moment. If they enter next season with the current group, they're going to be fine. Hey, Curtis, thanks for joining in there. I agree. No, it's just, I'm not saying Cappy for the rest of his career is going to be a second line center, but I just hate when people pigeonhole and say, oh, well, no, we can't. When he already, at a rookie, was a second line center on a 106-point team, one of only 7 rookie centers in the past decade to score 22 goals. I'm the only one to be a regular penalty killer, and he can't be a second line center. It's just frustrating. Like, if you say, well, I don't think he probably will be a third, but just, oh no, he's second line center. Anyway, we'll see. I certainly have been wrong before. I will be wrong again. If Cappy was on any other team and put up stats he did, almost every team in the league would be over the moon happy. But, oh no. No. They would all be saying he's a third line center at best. Habs currently the youngest team in the league. Again. Right on. Interaction can be tricky. Robert's rules. Applies to forums, groups, meetings. Okay. Hi, all. Good day. Maybe Bolduc only got 11 even strength goals because he was on the third and fourth lines. Nick McCracken wasn't always on the third and fourth lines. He played on the first and second lines too. He got his chances. You may not recall that, Nick, but he played. He got off to his quick start. He was in the top 6 to start. Then he went about a dozen games without a friggin' goal. Kind of hard to stay in the top 6 when you don't score for a friggin' month. Can't put the cart before the horse here, right? But he got plenty of opportunities and played. And then, this third and fourth lines, well, third line, a lot of the year had Doc on it. Newhook was on the third line for a spell. Newhook had the second best, and he played on the third line for quite a bit. So anyway, he did not live up to expectations. It's fair to say, after scoring 19 goals the year before. And by the way, Nick, it was mostly on the third and fourth line that he scored 19 goals the year before. A lot of them were on the power play. Well, he got time on the first power play in Montreal, and was always on the second power play, and didn't score many on the power play either. So um, disappointing year for him. It wasn't just the even strength goals, just goals in general, right? Like, it wasn't. He only scored 12 goals. He had 19 the year before. So, you know, that was disappointing to go from 19 as a rookie to 12. Uh, that's disappointing. What the heck are they talking about? Cappy has a lot of skills, and I respect people's opinion, but they're wrong about Cappy. Yeah. Love your show. Go Habs, go. Cappy's a great young player. Let him grow. Melvin Bryant. Hey, I don't want everybody to agree with me. I just state when it's the same usual suspect over and over again, before you even make your argument, yeah, I get tired of it. Do you speak French? Just a question. No. N-O-N. Just an answer. Cappy plays like a very mature player. He does. I grew up in Ontario. West Quebec born, but very, very English, an Irish community. And Renfrew, Ontario, not too many French people. So no, I did not. I did not learn Francais. Wish I had, obviously, but unfortunately, beyond my mental capacity as an old fart. Naslin, Koivu, Lehkonen, and now Kapanen. None of these players got any love during their early years in Montreal. I think Naslin and Koivu did. I'm not saying anything about Bolduc until this season. There you go. Leon. Hey, Grant. Great show. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think Cappy centering a line with Demidov and Jarosky scores 30 and is a 75 pointer at least. Ooh, that'd be nice. I think Hage is the better bet to be on the second line than Jarosky. I like Hage more than Jarosky, but that I realize that not everybody has that opinion. Looking forward to seeing Newhook's performance this year. Well, hey, Billy D, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. Is that what the NSNL is? Maritimer, anyway, Billy D. Um, by the way, if you're new on here and you're making your first comment, I like you to say where you're hailing from. That goes for you too, Brian. All you did was say you're in the Maritimes, but I like to know where people are. If you're Newfoundlander, Billy, you be pulling for Newhook, eh? He just had his big tournament. Liam's back. We got to get Liam on this week. I think he's a little late, but doesn't sound like Blaine's going to make it. He had to give the young lad a driving lesson tonight. I kind of asked him late, but hit the like button, hit subscribe, please. 81 in here, hit that like button. Yes, Brian, thank you. Yeah, no, Naslin was a fan favorite from the start. Yeah, for sure. Demidov a better scorer or playmaker? I like his passing decisions. Oh, I mean, he could score goals, but he's first and foremost, he's an elite playmaker. Uh, you know, he'd rather set up a goal than score it. I mean, that's the unselfish part of him, right? When came into play near the end of the season, do you see him playing with Demidov and Kapanen? Maybe. Depends. What if Newhook's on pace for 35 goals? It's not beyond the realm of possibility. If he scores at the pace he did in the playoffs, maybe. Then no, they'll put Hage on the third line and get it rolling. But I mean, I see that down the line, Demidov, Kapanen, and Hage, and then Hage possibly eventually being the second line center, and then Kapanen maybe being the third line center. You know, I'm not saying Oliver Kapanen is destined to be the second line center for the rest of his career. Maybe, maybe not. I do know that the start of this year, don't think there's a better option. And, you know, the stats prove it from last year. The guy did the job. So uh, Hage, it's asking a lot for Hage. Okay, you're just going to come in and you're going to center the second line right off the bat. You know, at the end of a year, playoffs, probably not. But you know, who knows down the road if his faceoffs keep improving, Kapanen doesn't improve on a 22 goal pace and doesn't increase his assist totals in the future, then someone else will be the second line center. But at the start of this year, it looks like they aren't making moves. Um, I mean, Doc's another possibility. If Doc has a great offseason and comes in, has a great camp, and Cappy looks like he did the end of last year, it might be Doc that's center in the second line. Might even be Newhook center in the second line. Although that it would not be my first choice. I see him. I like Newhook better on the wing, and you folks can weigh in on that as well. Um, do I see Tarasenko as a solution? I do not. I don't see Tarasenko being better than Newhook. So why bring in um, so Cappy with Bolduc and Newhook? What? Demidov on the third line? Definitely a passer, but he's apparently practicing his one timer. Yeah, well, you know that he does practice. St. John, New Brunswick. I lived in Riverview for a spell back in the 90s when the OJ trial was going on. Eastman Townships. Okay. I like Zarowski more when he puts on 25. Yeah. Yeah, he needs that. Absolutely. Like I say, lots of pictures of him going to the rink. I like to see a picture of him in the gym eating a hip of beef, like his mouth just full of beef while he's bench pressing 250 pounds. That's what I want to see. That it's the next picture I want to see. Jarowski. This was him the other day. I featured this, but uh, you need some beef, bud. He ain't ready to play in the NHL. I'll tell you that. He'll get friggin' smoked. I know. Gretzky was skinny too, Brian. Not that skinny though. Um, Never caught you live before, but great show. Hey, Joe Shamo, thank you. Could the Kapanen hitting a wall coincide with the soft ice, where is a killer diminishing as the season winds down? Soft ice disappears in playoffs. He feasted in early part of season. Well, VDoc, would it not? It's warmer in October than it is in February, and that's when he hit the wall. March. Is it not warmer in October than it September and October than it is in March? Is the ice really softer in March than it is in in March than it is in October? I don't know. You might be putting a little bit too much thought into that one. VDoc. I better get rid of that. That's not me. That wasn't me talking. That's not me. That picture was. I haven't been that skinny ever. Joe Chameau is from Burlington. Right on. Do you know why Sheldon left after three seasons? Well, I hope that. Let's just hope Kapanen's not the next Sheldon. Major rookie season breakout, bit of a fall off due to maybe injuries. Well, I think when the going got tough at playoff time there, Shell kind of went into a shell. And I think that probably turned off the coaching staff and said, okay, you know, he had 71 points in 77 games in the regular season. Then in the playoffs, they won the cup that year, by the way. 16 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. You know, he went for 32 goals, 39 assists, regular season, almost a point per game, to a point, less than a point every 3 games in the playoffs. Then the next year, 12 goals. So, you know, played half a year, 12 goals, 8 assists. And then, you know, he was a half a point player and soft. And long as he was scoring a point per game, you could put up with his softness. But once the stats dissipated, you know, there were better options in the lineup than him. It's a big camp for Owen Beck. Yeah, it is. He has an opportunity to impress in training camp. Billy D, Newfoundlander living in Nova Scotia. Okay. There you go. Oh, Melvin Brights from Sherbrooke, Quebec. Are you using your real name? Sherbrooke. Magdalen Island, Quebec. Hey, Simon, that's cool. Beautiful spot. I'm from Montreal since 51. Okay. Demidov is an artist with the puck. He is at that. Now, this one was actually hated by the Habs faithful for most of his time in Montreal. I don't, Joe, no. Absolutely not, man. Who's your dark horse to make the team out of cap? Ooh. Reinbacher? Be considered a dark horse, being a top 5 pick. Kandata, I think he might stick as the 13th forward. Samuel Poulin might get that opportunity. You know, it's not going to be Florian or Beck, I don't think, unless they win a spot outright and then Texier's the 13th forward. That's a possibility. But I look for it, you know. Some have even mentioned Berard, but I think it would be most likely Kandata, who can come in. He can win faceoffs. He can play center. He can play wing. Another big body. He's tough, strong, high character kid, or well, not a kid anymore, but you know they don't mind him sitting in the stands most of the time because he's not part of the big part of the future likely. Pula will get a long look as maybe he's he's a big boy. He can he can cycle the puck. He can do some things in a bottom six role that could help this team if and when he plays. Um, and again, he'd be spending most of his time in the press box. So it may not be sexy, the guy that wins the 13th spot in the lineup, but mostly because they don't want a Owen Beck sitting in the stands every night or a Florian Jacki sitting in the stands most of the time. Keep playing, keep developing. There'll be injuries. If there's an injury to forwards in camp, I'd say Owen Beck stands the best chance at this point of winning a spot because then he would be in the lineup regularly. And then, a guy like Kandata or Pula or whoever is the 13th guy, right? But it's likely going to be between Beck and Jacki. I don't think Florian took a step back as far as I'm concerned last year. He didn't progress. And I don't know that Beck did either, but um, Beck's able to keep up with the NHL pace a little better than Florian at this point, unless Florian has a really good offseason, puts on lean muscle as opposed to more muscle, gets a little quicker, then he might, it's up to them. It's up to them. Mark Mark reposted this stream. Thank you, Mark. Demidov played cautiously as a rookie, really had his head on a swivel. I thought that was wise. Yeah. How about when Hage gets here, second line? Zhorowski, Hage, Demidov, third line, Newhook, Kapanen, and Balduke. Well, when Hage gets here, Zhorowski's not going to be on the second line. That's for sure. You just want three. You want three guys with no experience whatsoever on the second line? It ain't happening. Zhorowski needs a pile of work away from the puck, and he's years away, Nick. Years. When Hage gets here, Zhorowski's still going to be playing in Russia. It's just the way it is for now. I'd say Zhorowski's got minimum 2 years more before he's getting any looks in the NHL. Could be 3. But when he's ready, when he's put on some beef, learned how to play away from the puck, got faster, he'll be exciting. He'll be exciting to keep an eye on. I'll be posting lots of Zhorowski videos this year. All the prospects, for sure. Newhook on the wing for me. He needs to be free to fly. Absolutely. No problem. Great podcast or whatever this is called. Yeah. HabsCast. It's not a podcast, it's a HabsCast. In August, I hit the mark. Okay, I'm a little, 75. Okay. I'm 10 lower. Oh, yeah, 65. Freedom 65. Love the show, Grant. I'm from Nova Scotia. As the Habs look to add to their top 6, I wonder about Brady Martin. Oh, I love Brady Martin. But why would why would Nashville trade Brady Martin? He's a big part of the future for them. But yeah, I'd take Martin in a megasecond, microsecond. That's what I'm trying to say. Uh, I thought they were the two best forwards at the World Junior Tournament, Hage and Martin. Personally, I would love to see Slav, Caps, Demidov as the Canadian second line to start next year. 3 non-Americans playing the true give and go the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, well then who would you put on the top line? Hey, I like that line there, but they did hit a wall as a trio after a while, but yeah. The soft ice meaning open areas by side of the net. Well, why didn't you just say the dirty areas, soft ice, not the hardness of the ice? All right. McDavid could not do one pull up as a prospect workout day. Yeah. And McDavid a year later put on 15 pounds of weight. And 2 summers later, he was 20 pounds heavier. Jarowski's not. Forgot the. Oh, okay. Can we already forget about Atos Koivu? Who? Who's that? Kapanen never hit a wall last March. He sat out to help Caulfield and Suzuki gain stats. Oh no, he hit a wall. He never sat out. He never sat out at one game till the playoffs. He even started the playoffs too. And then all of a sudden he was sat. Full season of Doc, healthy, top 6 hand size and talent. Hey, Wade Anthony. Where are you from, Wade? Yeah, he did play all 82. I'm originally from La Gaspé. While I like Cappy and would be fine seeing him with Demidov, I'm still hoping Doc flourishes in that role so he can add size and physicality to the top 6. Well, maybe Cappy, Demidov, Doc as a line. He could still bring size and physicality to the top 6, right? Does it have to be Doc instead of Cappy? Why can't the 3 of them play together too? I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you there. I'm heavy on the Jägermeister this day. On vacation. Cheers. Westmount, Quebec. Okay, John. Jägermeister. Get it into you. Mark, how many likes have we got today? I know a couple of guys that probably didn't press the like button, but hopefully most of you did. Are we up to 60 yet? We haven't cracked 100. We never had 100 people watching. We've been 80s. So numbers aren't great, but what do we have? Like 50 some likes so far? Hit the like button, folks. You got to go out of chat, hit like. If you're watching on X, hop on over, leave your comments, say where you're from. Don't say that Cappy can never be a second line center. Your comment may not be read. Just warning you. No, as long as you're not someone that keeps saying it all the time, you're okay. Doc has hands and puck possession for top 6, putting him on a checking line winger as a big body checker, expecting an Anderson is the wrong chair. Kapanen played the bronze medal game and was on the ice for 4 of their 5 goals. Yeah. I think Reinbacher will develop better Kapanen was great when he finally got in the World Championships there. Or I mean the Olympics. I think Reinbacher will develop better and faster playing with this group of defensemen. He's smart and talented. Yeah. It will be interesting to see what they do for the bottom six. By the way, I posted at the very start here a link to my Patreon. A great article today put up by none other than Bobby Trask, who writes some great stuff, and it's well worth the read. If you're already a subscriber, go read it. If not, I would recommend this would be a good time to pick up a subscription. There's the Complications on Defense, the Montreal Canadiens Blue Line Dilemma. Bob has some good thoughts here. Bob's been around the game a lot of years, did a lot of coaching. Very smart hockey man and a really good writer too. So highly recommend giving that a read. And it's $5 a month for Patreon subscription. Blaine's going to be putting stuff up. I haven't put up those videos yet, but I do have. I'm going to post. What's cool about that is I'm going to be posting. I'm going to be posting stuff, NHL highlights, right, and stuff that you can't, that I can't put up on YouTube or it gets flagged. So I'll be putting highlights up this year, more highlights, and focusing on player. Like when Reinbacher plays his first NHL game, I'll do a scouting video that I'll put up on Patreon because it doesn't get flagged there, but it'll only be available to the Patreon subscribers, and it's $5 a month. So well worth it, folks. Zeph, okay, what do I think of Balduke on the second line? Well, we did touch on that earlier on. Not crazy about it. I think Newhook's better than Balduke right now. So I'd prefer Doc or Newhook on the second line with Cappy and Demidov. And Brian, reiterating, Balduke is a bottom six forward. There you go. Montreal benefit by signing their young talent early. Hughes didn't want to sign. I'll give credit to Hughes. His strength is negotiating contracts and timing, probably from his past as an agent. Yeah, it hasn't hurt. Cappy's only going to get better. Let people know again about how much games the kid did in his rookie year. Yeah, well, it was crazy. Like from, from April 1st to April 1st of 2025 to 2026, Cappy played in a hell of a lot of games. He played in 3 different playoff leagues for starters, right? Like he was in the SHL playoffs, right? Then he went to the Habs playoffs, or AHL playoffs, NHL playoffs. Then he played in the rookie tournament. Then he played in the exhibition season, number of games. Then he played 82 games for the Habs. And in between that, went to the Olympics, didn't play a pile, but practiced every day, flew there, didn't get to rest like all these, like 80% of the 90% of the players in the NHL. Oliver, maybe not quite as tired as the guys that played all the games, but you know, not much less tired, that's for sure. 11 games with with Laval last year in the playoffs, 3 with Montreal, 6 with Timra, so he had 20 games there, right? So basically from, you know, start of April till the start of this April, he played and practiced and nonstop almost for 12 months. 20, 28, 110, probably 110 games. He also played in the World Championships last year too, right? For Finland. So 26. Wow. 29. Yeah, he might have played 120 games counting exhibition and rookie tournament or close to it. 115 games. So this is a guy that played 51 the year before, played 36 for Timra last season. you know, he hit a wall. Kapanen's got good size, good shot, great hockey IQ with a play like Demidov, power forward like Slav. He can be a good partner. Yeah. Well, I ended up going back 41. 41 likes. I don't like that, folks. I don't like that at all. I'm gonna have to like my own podcast to get it pumped up here. So 51. Okay. Well, we're up to 52 now. Hit that like button, folks. We got to get 100, eh? That's always the goal. Hit the 100 mark on the likes. It's always much appreciated. I'm going to quickly 734 views, 50 likes. That's about the usual. Somewhere between 5 and 10%. Hit the like button. Fraserville, Ontario. All right, Wade, thank you. I don't know if Hughes would trade a hometown discount contract since it was given for Evans to remain. Is that a no-no? I don't know. Jimbo was, born in Westmount. The biggest question is D still. I really think Reinbacher has a solid chance of making the team. If he does make it, he has to be top 6. The real question is a spot for the other 3 guys. Reinbacher stepping up and taking a job cures a lot of ills. And in my opinion, it's about time he does it. Well, the last defenseman not to get a good look in the NHL by the age of 22 was Thomas Hickey. It was like 15 years ago. The last defenseman drafted in the top 5. So, yeah, he's due. By the way, Mark, congratulations on being a member here for 8 months. And if you do become a member, I can get in touch with me, and I will send you a free subscription to Patreon. So you become a member here, you get a free Patreon subscription. Can't beat that deal, right? Extra incentive. Definitely worth a subscribe here. Go Habs. Thanks, Joe Chameau. Whoever wins the most on the dot. Yeah, well, Face-off's going to be important. Doc's never been more than a 40% guy for his career so far. Cappy, as a rookie, was 45%, which is another reason why I don't see Doc being the center this coming year. Or certainly not like Doc, Newhook, 240% guys for their career. Although Newhook did improve last year and Doc did a bit too. But I think you need at least one guy that's half decent on draws in there. Cappy in the offensive zone won 57% of his draws last year. So that's an interesting stat that I saw. We don't know what Balduke is yet. No, that's right. I don't like to pigeonhole guys. I've learned my lesson through the years that you say, oh, that guy's going to be a second liner and he never is, or that guy's never going to be a second liner and he is. You don't. I try to be careful. I don't think that Bolduc will be a top 6 guy, but that's based on 1 year and sometimes, and him being pretty young. Sometimes players, I did see a little better vision playmaking from Bolduc towards the end of the year. For a while there, frig, he couldn't seem to make a pass or he had tunnel vision. Proved a little bit as the year went on. It's same with Newhook as he's gained experience and Marty's been working with him. Maybe Bolduc, can adapt that way too. Again, time and space, the NHL level. Same thing with Cappy too. We didn't see a lot of playmaking from him, and he can do it. And I think, in part it's young, inexperience, NHL, not a lot of room out there, right? Takes time to adapt. Doc can be healthy. That looks like Cappy without hitting a wall. Dover should keep up his breakout campaign. Rhino, will he make it? Oh, lots of question marks. Fowler, Fowler good in camp. Montembeau's still going to be around. Can Montembeau, what if Montembeau's around and he's better than Fowler in camp? You can send Fowler back. He's still young. That's not an impossibility either. As much as people would probably freak about it, camp will be fun. Oh yeah, it's crowded on defense. Struble and Jackal are solid enough to be regulars, so I expect a trade. That's how we get a return, and they earn a job. Just from what I've heard from management and from what Pascal said, this and that, I don't know if they think Reinbacher will be ready at the start of the year. They really want him to be overripe, as Kent has said. Maybe there's a lot of smoke around Arbor perhaps being traded. What's the rumor been like? Arbor traded to Calgary, getting back White Cloud. I mean, I'd like that deal. I pushed for White Cloud at the trade deadline last year. I thought that was they needed him for the playoffs, my opinion. I think he'd be an ideal player. It's exactly what they need on that defense. If they are thinking, okay, we're going to give Reinbacher another 40 games or 60 games or season in the AHL and really have him ready, I'm not discounting that, they've got extra left defensemen there. Maybe they want to have Engstrom as the kind of the rotation, the platoon guy with Struble, trade Jackeye for White Cloud, but then there's 8 again, isn't there? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there's too many defensemen. There's too many NHL defensemen, and it wouldn't surprise me if a move was made. I still think Struble might be more likely to be moved than Jacky, but at the same time, I think perhaps Jacky has more value. And if neither of them are projected to have a regular spot, it might make more sense to deal the guy that'll get you the best return, right? Like if Calgary's willing to trade Whitecloud, but they want Jacky and not Struble, then as much as I would not like to get rid of Arbor because I do like the kid, I do like his character, I do think that heavyweight guy that's one of the more respected fighters in the league, having him there isn't a bad thing. But and I think that the players love him. He's just such a high character guy too, and not knows his role, doesn't complain about it, doesn't mind being out of the lineup at times. You want that as your seventh guy, right? But if if he's the guy that Calgary would want if they were to deal Whitecloud to Montreal, then I think you make that deal. If you come in and watch the HabsCast, hit the like button on the way in or the way out. Thank you, Ryan. Do you guys feel the Habs will add another depth forward till the end of summer? Feels a bit lacking compared to last summer. Maybe another Sammy Blair, Veleno type player. Maybe Francois, or maybe they give that could be Lucas Condata. And the Veleno type, that maybe Samuel Poulin was their Veleno signing for this year. They might get one more as a 13th guy, but they may say, okay, well, between Berard, even though that wouldn't be my choice, Condata, Poulin, Florian, and Beck, if Florian or Beck outplays Texier, Texier's the 13th forward. If one of those other three guys looks good in camp, they can be the 13th forward. I don't know. I don't miss the days when Bergevin would sign like these journeymen, instead of giving somebody another player that's paid his dues and been paying his dues in the AHL, giving him a chance, like Condata, right? Like, why not give him NHL slot this year? The kid's character is just impeccable. He's been captain of Laval. He will do anything. He doesn't hurt you out there. He's looked good whenever he's played in the NHL. He hasn't been he hasn't hurt the team in any way. He busts his ass out there, win faceoffs, can play on the wing, can play at center. Certainly won't complain getting an NHL paycheck, even if he's sitting in the stands most of the time. I don't see them doing the Bergevin thing and signing a oh man, like some of the guys, right? Wheel, who was that? Oh, there were a few, and it pissed me off because they'd end up playing a whole ton too. Remember the Russian Seaman when they signed him, and anyway, Seaman, I called him. Kirby looked concussed in last season's playoffs. Hopefully he can return healthy for training camp. They do it's one less spot for a young guy. Someone will need to be traded, but I could see a guy like David Perron on the cheap. Canadians won lots of them and still fell apart defensively to let the other team score. But you still try to have the best face-off guys. So I'd rather have possession of the puck than not have possession of the puck. Bolduc would make a good foot soldier for Evans. They play well together. Well, I think Doc, Evans, Bolduc. Evans played very well in the playoffs. He actually played second line center and was good. So I think he gets the third line center spot. Got Bolduc, got Evans, Bolduc, Evans, and either Doc or Newhook on the third, and either Doc or Newhook on the second, the other one, right? Josh is really good on the face-off circle. I know it's only when someone get kicked out. Yeah. They still need to protect themselves against injuries. It's not outside probabilities to have 3 forwards injured on a roster. Yeah. And it's not outside the possibility of Beck filling in just fine, Kandata filling in just fine, Poulin filling in, Jared Davidson can come in, Kandata, as I mentioned. So, I mentioned like 5 guys that could possibly win a spot. So if there's 3 injured forwards, there's guys in the organization that can be called up, as far as I'm concerned. Arbor to Philly is another rumor. Oh yeah, they take him. But there's rumors around the Habs all the time. Facebook is just. I started up a HabsCast page, by the way, on Facebook. If you go to HabsCast Facebook, you'll see it. I'll just but the friggin' on my feed, all of this bullshit clickbait on the Habs, it's crazy. Suzuki leaving the Habs after 13 years. Oh yeah, joined the Habs when he was 13, did he? And he's leaving. Like they try to get you to click on air. It's outrageous. The clickbait on there, like everything's a lie. And there was even one about Florian Jacquet won't make the club to start the year. Looking, this was a day after I did my podcast. Sure enough, it was Grant McCagg says, and that's not even what I said. I just said I don't know that he'll be ready, but if he has a really good offseason, maybe he wins a job. But I still think he needs time. But the headlines, Florian Jacquet won't make the. It's like, oh boy, this friggin' clickbait has gotten it's running rampant. It's horrible on Facebook. Lies, like people make up bullshit lines to get people to click on it. I won't do that ever. That's crazy. But here's my Facebook. There's my HabsCast Facebook, and maybe if you want there, you can join up. We got 165 followers in the first week, but I'd like to double that. Anyways, I'm posting lots of stuff on my HabsCast Facebook page too. If you're an old fogey like me and use Facebook and not TikTok or Instagram. All right. See the 2 ads down here, Next Level Hockey, Bonnechere Caves. Check them out, BonnechereCaves.com. Check out their website. It's pretty cool. Next Level Hockey, I'm still putting him up there, even though our agreement is done. Great guy, Mike. Look into it there, nextlevelhockey.com. It's in Laval. You got a young aspired hockey player. Sign him up with Next Level Hockey, and they'll treat him or her great. Maybe bring back Sherratt if he's available. Yeah. Ristolainen. Yeah. Barbo's going to be traded. It would have been by now. Oh, I don't know. Gordon and Hughes are on vacation until late August. You can still make phone calls. If you get Whitecloud, I would get rid of Carrier and put Reinbacher as a sixth defenseman. Yeah, well, I don't disagree with that either. Dobson, Whitecloud, Reinbacher. I like it. Size. When Rhino's ready and they get a player of Whitecloud's profile, Carrier should fetch a decent return. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think they would have to deal a D soon. Well, we've been talking about that, John. The bottom six has to be physical and effective, not 6 minutes a game. I agree. Rumors are crazy nonsense. Most of the time, the other name from Philly was said to be of interest was Tippett. Yeah. That's why I keep getting asked about Tippett, eh? Not the biggest Tippett fan. I have to just checking the up to 58 likes. Slowly but surely. Bargain bin Bergie, what a nightmare. Bargain bin, yeah. Blay was a last minute thing and Veleno was off waivers. Yeah. Well, that's it too, right? Maybe they want to see how camp goes. You can always grab somebody late. Carl Alsner? Yeah. Maybe, eh? Veleno was I don't think Veleno was waivers, was he? He was placed on unconditional waivers by Seattle for the purpose of a buyout. I guess you could call that waivers, but the Habs signed him in the summer. It's not like, during the season he was put on waivers and they picked him up. They signed him fairly, like, towards the end of the. I guess maybe it was towards the end of camp, right? Bergman was a plumber. He liked plumbers. Yep. What is the chance of Belzile breaking the lineup this season? Yeah. I think he's an AHLer for life, but I guess you could put him in the mix. It's becoming increasingly hard to make this team. Doesn't that force the hand towards a deal to make room for the new? As opposed to not making any trades and signing another guy. I agree. Caulfield, Suzuki, Slav, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, Bolduc, Evans, Stock, Anderson, Deneau, Texier. Who's your 13th forward? Been discussing this again. Just went through all that. I named like 5 different guys that could be that. I'm not going to keep repeating it. Yeah, Jordan Wheel, Weiss, Pekka, 2 others that didn't play in Montreal. Oh, you can go on and on. Schlemko, Alsner. Who was that guy? And there was a guy, and Julian played him like second line, and I'm going, what the hell are you doing? Um, uh, He signed Flynn one year, and it was just on and on. Byron Fraze, that was the guy. He played him and played him and played him. Torrey Mitchell, another one. Like, just kept signing these uh, journeymen, you know. And Julian would always favor them over the rookie, over any young players. And they'd always, Brian Flynn, they'd always end up playing. And it just drove you crazy. And the rookies wouldn't get, wouldn't get an opportunity. And then at the trade deadline that year, Martinson and King and a washed up Steve Ott. McCarron was just coming into his own, and he had to sit in the friggin' stands the whole playoffs. It's like, you're ruining the kid. And it was another 3 years before he developed and had to be traded from the Habs for. It was just over and over again. They didn't trust the scouts. Scouts and the management in Laval and Montreal weren't on the same page. Well, you can't have that. Frig, you got to trust what your scouts have done. Give the opportunity to the young players. Develop them properly. Not this bullshit. Keep giving spots to friggin' journeymen. Chris Terry, another one. Like, it just every year. Bergevin would sign all of these friggin' journeymen, and they would get spots instead of young players, and it just drove me crazy. And the kids would get frustrated. They think, no confidence. Alex Semin, remember that signing? He started him on the first line at the start of the year. And Julian, every year at camp, whatever the lines were for the first exhibition game and for practices, that's what started the season. There was never, and there was never a rookie that was in the top four lines start the scrimmages and practices at the start of the year. It was always these journeymen, and Semin was on the first line to start. And I'm looking at him like, what the hell is this guy doing on the first frickin' line? Are they blind? Oh, I'm glad those days are over. There was so much disconnect and so much just stupidity as far as I was concerned with how they handled young players. It just no wonder it was a treadmill there for so many years. The Habs should offer sheet Air Bud. Okay. We haven't seen Eric in a while. Eric Macramella, he's we're giving him a little vacay. He's busy. He coaches his sons in baseball all summer. He's tied up, but don't worry. All these guys, it's hard to ask him in the middle of summer, right? I can still do it. I have to, but give everybody July off anyway. Yeah. Bueno technically was UFA. Yeah, exactly. They gave him his unconditional release type thing, and then Habs signed him, right? Yeah. I hated Nick Cousins. Yeah, there's another one. I know. Joe Morrow, Dwight King, Andres. Yep. Andres. I mentioned Niku and Johnny Merrill. The good old days. Oh, and the Pitlicks. They had a Picnic with the Pitlicks. Could you define what you don't like about Tippett? Oh, well, yeah. Do you think Newhook doesn't necessarily see the ice very well? Tippett's not a real great passer either. He's selfish. He's inconsistent. I'm not sure of the character end of things. Not a checker. There's lots of things I don't like about Tippett, but you'd have to pay a hefty price to get him because he's got points. So hey, if he's on the trade market, and he seems to check a lot of big boxes, he hits, skates, shoots, scores at 5-5. Why is he on the trade market? There's reasons. Bunch of Pitlicks, a potluck of them. Oh, yeah, and he's got a pretty hefty contract too, and it would cost a lot. Not no, I Tippett wouldn't be my choice. I don't think they need a specific thing in their top six, and I don't think that that's Tippett. Any chance Jared Davidson carves out any sort of career? John Heron. Hey, John. Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't. Um, he kind of took a step back last year, right? Last year was kind of his year to, and he got an NHL look. I like him. I mean, he's competitive. He can fight. He's smart. Um, Hopefully, he has a bounce back this year, and we see more of what we saw the previous year. Not by any means writing him off either. He just signed what, a 1 year deal, so they're giving him one last kick at the can to show his stuff here, or he might be moving on after next year. Caulfield, Suzuki, Doc, Slav, Caps, Demidov, and there are your top six. Yeah, yeah. Davidson's not too old, so yeah, you don't give up on him too early. But you see turnover, right? You've seen some guys go out like Trudeau. Trudeau's not very old. Move on from him. You kind of give these guys a couple of contracts, and if there doesn't look like there's a spot for them, then you give them opportunity in other organizations. It's typically how it works, right? But Davidson has a really good year, still RFA, all that. They'd sign him again. I hope he does. Lots to like about him. He's really tough, like pound for pound, very tough kid. Good character, good shot. Um, uh, it, they don't give a shit about money, so I don't think they freaking they're on the hockey rink all the time. They got no, you know, unless they're skating around when they're practicing, burning $100 bills. They never spend their friggin' money. They don't. Get back to me in 5 years. If they haven't won a cup, they'll be regretting it. If they have, they're not going to regret one bit. The guys are multimillionaires. One of the things I like about these players that the Habs have got, they're not greedy. Trudeau was a classic case of getting passed by better younger prospects. Yeah, happens all the time. Fourth round picks, you get passed by guys like Struble, second round pick, right? I bet they aren't thinking about it for a second. No. Davidson's hey, they knew that the cap was going up. I'm sure the agent told like they know, they knew. Friggin' Demi signed for $9 million after 1 year, less than 70 points. I mean, that's a fair deal. Start on the first line with Belzile and Dauphin. Dauphin's not even signed, is he? I don't know that Dauphin's going to be back. That's not going to be the first line. First line's going to have Beck and Jack-Eye. They'll be on the top line this year. The top prospects. That's why they've turned over some of this too. Got rid of some guys because they want. It'll be Jack-Eye. This is Jack-Eye and Beck's last year before they're waiver eligible. They'll be ones on the top line this year. At least one of them. I bet they aren't thinking about that a single second. No. Lots of Doc believers. I probably saw more positive comments about him tonight than the whole internet combined in the last month. Well, for the most part, we're a positive bunch here, right? Okay, I'm 2.5 hours in here. No other donations coming in for the last hour and a half. So, getting a sore ass here. I can only sit here for so long. I need butt pay here, guys, if I'm going to go any longer. Mark, thanks for the 10 spot. Brian, appreciate the $10 super sticker. Mark, too bad you're going to be away for a couple days. Going to miss you. We haven't seen our buddy. There's been a few guys that they're taking the summer off, eh? What I am up to, my seventh beer. Wow. Edward, thank you. Very impressive analysis regarding. I appreciate that. I appreciate people that listen to my, the reasons why I think instead of just coming on and for the 45th time saying, oh, he's the third line center, before I've even laid out the reasons why I think he will once again be Montreal's second line center this year to start the year. Thanks, Edward. I appreciate people that keep an open mind with it. That's not always the case with some folks. And yes, it does frustrate me. Everyone always talk about how good Pascal was at development talent, but he seemed to give more ice time to the AHL vets in my eyes. Yeah, I got a little frustrated about it, Dauphin and Josh was another one who they moved on from, right? Trudeau, Josh. So Davidson will probably get one more year, and then if he doesn't show progress this year. But yeah, I wasn't 100% crazy about Pascal's it's hard for a coach not to try to play to win even in the AHL, right? And I mean, Florian played a lot in the bottom six, fourth line. Like he's out there on a line with Roar and Arsenault in the playoffs, and and meanwhile Dauphin and Juan, all these guys are getting first line minutes, and the guys that Beck and Jack-Eye and they aren't. It was disappointing at times. Over 2 hours. Very generous of your time. Thank you, Simon. I'm fighting a cold here too, so I guess I better wrap this up. Trump would tariff everyone just for watching. Yeah, I think Pascal was also trying to use players with the minutes and role they played in the NHL. Bit why Florian was often playing fourth line. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's yeah. I but I don't know. I think you got to play these guys. With good players, like not with Arsenault, and give them more minutes. Like Florian playing 14 minutes, he's better off playing 18. Uh, you know, in all roles, you want them producing and playing well at the AHL level, and then you know, they can always slide into bottom six spot at the NHL level. Yeah, yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Ken. Beck Davidson, all AHL players for life, sad but true. Oh, I don't think Beck is. I don't believe that. I think he'll get may not be Montreal, but I think he'll play. Too young to be. Um, maybe you play. If you play 20 minutes, you try. But if you play 14, yeah. Well, the best prospects need to play the most. I do believe at the AHL level. All right, folks. Thank you. Hit that like button. After the podcast's over there, hit like, hit subscribe. And thank you as always for tuning in on a July summer night. I got to wrap this up. So appreciate it as always, everybody. We're close to 1,000 people that have. I get the raw numbers here, the analytics, and I think what do we have here? 929 people tuned in. So basically, that's good numbers. I really appreciate it. So, um, okay, I gotta go. Everybody, I appreciate it. Have a good night, and I'll probably do another one tomorrow night, Friday night, 7 o'clock, same time, same place. Okay, we'll see you then. Bye for now.